don't know if you can tell, but we officially have lamps. The lamps have arrived. I'm illuminated. And it's kind of creepy having lamps this big, but you can see me now. Lamps, yes. So you can see my face and the puppy's face. Gypsy, show your face. There you go, a little bit, yeah. Okay, so welcome back everyone. With lights, we have lights. I'm so excited. It's not gonna look all like, yeah, flashy or weird shadows, you know, just natural bags under my eyes instead of extra ones. So lately I've been getting a lot of emails regarding how to get your puppy used to collars and leashes and walking. So I figured I'd go over some of those things today and just give a few quick tips on like what we've done with our dogs. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not a certified dog trainer. I am just an experienced and trained pet parent. So when we brought home Gypsy and Clea, they were like this big, like so tiny, so we didn't even have collars or leashes on. We actually carried them into the house, and like for the first 2 weeks we didn't even like do anything collar related or leash wise. We just wanted them to get used to our house and everything like that, and used to the pack and all that stuff, and which also gave them, you know, more of an opportunity to bond with us and, you know, have them realize that, you know, we're family now and stuff like that. But when we first put collars on them, Gypsy, like most dogs, didn't give two hoots about it. She's just like, whatever, fashion accessories, you know. She actually even loves putting on dog clothes and stuff now. But Clea, when we put the collar on her, she acted like, oh my god, they're murdering me. Like she bowed her head down and got into the submissive position and was just totally like terrified of us putting this collar on her. So if you have a dog that's doing that, or even a dog who screams bloody murder with the collar on, you want to do kind of like, is it conditioning? Or is that the word I'm looking for? Words are hard. So you want to do like little increments with the collar. So you want to put the collar on for just a short period of time if they're acting that way, and then take it off, you know, and try to give them like reassuring positive like things when you're putting the collar on the dog. Especially if they're in submissive position, you want to be like really reassuring. Sometimes rubbing their chest helps for a dog who's unconfident or who's scared in the submissive position. So we kind of did that with Clea. When she would be in that little ball of fear, we would rub her chest, tell her it's okay, and we would take the collar off after maybe a short period of time. We didn't leave it on, I don't even think for a minute at first, because she was really scared of it. She didn't understand it. Another thing to motivate your puppy with being okay with the collar is food. Food's a great motivation for a lot of training. So you can always give her like a little treat when she has the collar on, or give her favorite toy, or praise her, or him. Sorry, I'm saying her because I'm thinking of my girl. But anything positive while the collar's on. And most dogs usually are fine with the collar being on, but yeah, there are exceptions. I mean, some dogs just are like, what is this? Like, this is way too new and like weird for me to understand right now. So you just have to be patient, because puppies are learning like so much as it is. So in adding collars and everything else into their new world, I mean, it can be kind of overwhelming for some dogs. And now that my girls are older, Clea's fine with the collar. It's the harness she still submits to. She will still sometimes curl down in the harness like, what is this stuff on me? Like, she doesn't like things being wrapped around her. So we're trying to get her confidence still built up with that. So the next topic for discussion is the leash. Do you think this is for you? So I've gotten a few emails too regarding leashes. When you bring home a puppy who's 6 months or on, we're not going anywhere. What, do you want this? We're doing a video right now. This is for later. It's too hot anyway. It's like 90 something degrees out there. I've lost my train of thought because of the pooch. Look at you just waiting. I really can't remember where I was going with this. See what happens when you do cute stuff? All right, now I'm back on track. Memory's working now. So leashes. When you're bringing home a dog that's 6 months or younger, I first of all recommend that the leash shouldn't be more than 4 to 6 feet long. You don't want to start them on retractable leashes. That's not going to teach them anything. That's just going to let them have free reign, and they're going to be walking you as opposed to you walking them. So you definitely want to make sure it's like a 4 to 6 foot leash to start with. If they are afraid of the leash, of course, if you're doing stuff like the way I'm holding it for camera, they probably would be. But if they're fearful of the leash, you can literally just keep the leash with you. Like when you're sitting down playing with your puppy, keep the leash in your lap. You can lay it on the floor. So if you can even attach the leash to your puppy and just have it walk around the house with the leash to get it not afraid of it. We're not going anywhere, sweetheart. And of course now she thinks she's going somewhere. My baby. But you want to make the leash part of their like daily life. So if they are showing signs of being afraid of the leash, or if they freeze up and fall down once you actually attach the leash to their collar. Yes, hi baby. Oh, no. I know. I'm so losing train of thought. But while you have the leash attached to their collar, you can easily try to distract them if they are showing fear of the leash. You can distract them with just giving them a cookie. Yeah, you get cookies, huh? Yes, you do, because you're such a good girl. And that way they're not focused on the leash. Here, this is so hard to do. Sometimes when you're training your dog, if you like overload too many treats, they can get an upset stomach. That doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So we actually mix ours with actual dog kibble. So they're not getting like crazy extra calories from too many treats, and we break up whatever treats we're giving them into small ones if we don't have these actual small ones. So just, they don't need much. It's just something to motivate them. And the more praise you give them and the more you lure them with the food, you know, they'll start being more comfortable around the collars and the leashes. But like I said, yes, good girl, good girl. You just want to make sure it's around somewhere. So whether it's on the floor when you're playing with your puppy, or in your lap, or even just setting it like on your coffee table so they can see it, so it's around them, and so they know it's not like something to be afraid of. So puppies can chew sometimes on their leash when you first start walking them. That I don't get too worked up over right away. I mean, it's a puppy. They put everything in their mouth, so that's kind of, it's normal behavior. It's them trying to just figure out their world. We're not going anywhere, love. I gotta put the leash down because yeah. But if they're totally like frozen up and, you know, lying on the ground, try to motivate them with a toy. Like either start playing and get them like, so they're walking with the leash and collar, like around the house or in your yard. It is not WLK time. I'm getting stared down here now. So once you do get your puppy comfortable wearing its collar and it's not fearful of the leash and it's actually starting to move on the leash too, depending on your puppy, because every dog's different. They react to things differently. So when you start walking your puppy, that's going to be a new experience anyway. So I don't expect too much from my puppies like the very first time you take them for a walk, because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, it's a new experience. It's a new feeling of being attached to something, you know, and so when you first start taking your puppy out for walks, it's going to possibly grab the leash once in a while, which that's kind of an easy corrective thing. I mean, they're young. They're just trying to figure out what it is attached to them. But you can also experience things like them trying to run, or them starting to pull, or them just totally not listening. So like short walks per day, like just slowly start training them, and you can teach them different things on the walks too. Like you can teach them how to sit when you stop, which actually can help with pulling. So if your puppy is pulling like ridiculously, like a lot, one thing we do is that we actually stop, like we stand in place and we try to call the dog back to us. Even if the dog doesn't like know the command come or come here, it's kind of, they kind of figure it out on their own because you're not moving. So if you're standing in place and they're pulling, they'll realize, wait a minute, I can't go, and mommy's behind me, so they'll come back usually. And I usually reward them with treats. So always carry treats or treat kibble mix, as we call it. Or even if they have like a favorite toy. So if the dog's pulling, you can distract it by like stopping in place and trying to distract it with a toy, or even like trying to run the opposite direction and bring the dog back to you. So it makes them, but you reward them when the dog comes back, not while they're pulling. Did I say that right? I don't know if I'm explaining this right. And it's way too hot outside for me to like film this during the day to show you what I mean by stopping your puppy from pulling. Another thing we sometimes do if the puppy's pulling is try to get them to come back to us. And once they come back to us, even if they don't know sit or stay, we will just stay there a moment, and usually like wait about 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds or something. Just wait like a short period of time before you continue the walk again. And then that way they're getting the idea that pulling's not going to get us anywhere further, if that makes sense. I hope I explained that right. And when it comes to what type of collar to give your puppy, that's up to you. I mean, you can use like a regular collar. They've actually got training collars with chains on it. There's harnesses. There's also just regular chains, not the pinch ones, but the chains. And sometimes I do recommend those too, because if your puppy's trying to bolt constantly and it busts through the snappy collars, which a lot of mine have done. I don't really like the snap collars because they snap right open. So, but there's options, and it's up to you which ones you want to use for training. Any regular collar or harness is perfectly fine for your dog at that, especially when they're very, very young. But yeah, I just always recommend trying to make sure that the dog is secure, because puppies, You never know if they're gonna try to run or if they're gonna break out. You don't want them breaking out of that leash when they don't know commands necessarily very well yet, and they don't know what they're doing very well yet. So yeah, short little walks, food motivation. Definitely use food or toys to help motivate them. And like I said, just leaving stuff around the house like the leashes and collars can kind of help them get used to the idea. Of course, some dogs might actually grab the leashes and collars and destroy them, because I have heard of that happening too, with you trying to get the dog used to those things. But you have to figure out what works for you and what works for your household. And if regular dog food and treats don't work for your dog, you can really up the game and give them like some boiled chicken or, you know, turkey that, you know, that doesn't have any like seasoning or flavoring in it, like the, you know, stuff that's safe for puppy. But even that, you don't want to give too much to a puppy, because yeah, they're still growing, and yeah, you don't want to upset their stomach too much. But that's like the last resort, is to give them something better than the kibble and the regular dog treats if they're really having a hard time figuring out how to not be afraid of the leash and collar. So I hope this helps anyone who's just gotten a puppy and had any of these questions or thoughts going through their head, or experiencing any of this right now. Just remember, it's totally normal for a puppy to like not totally be okay with something at first. You know, you have to give the dog time to like understand what it is and what and how things work. Do you have anything else to add? No? You look sleepy. Chelsea's probably depressed because we weren't going anywhere with that leash. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to click thumbs up, like, subscribe, bell button, all the buttons, and I'll see you next time. I just give in. Another good thing about kibble with treats, they just have most, yeah, whatever they want. Is that pretty good stuff? Yeah, okay. You ready to go see what everybody else is doing? Want to say bye to the camera? Look at their face. Look up that way. Look that way. Camera.